guys, I hope you had a great Easter. I'm joining you this morning with the things that I got from the Sephora sale. I didn't get a ton of things, but I got some things, and I thought you might be interested to know what those things are. I haven't talked a whole lot about this sale. I feel like in past videos, I've really honed in on some of those things that are just classics, can't miss products from Sephora that I recommend, and I just didn't feel like I needed to do that this time around. But I'm going to be sharing what I got, and my face is partially done. One of the things I got involves eyes, so we'll be doing that part on camera, but I will let you know what I have on already. For my primer, I use the Refi Glow and Sculpt Primer, the one with the roller on it, and then this is from Polite Society. I hadn't used this in a bit. The More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation shade is very light, and it's like full coverage. I used nearly a full pump, and it felt like a lot, so a lot of coverage with that, and then of course a lot of coverage with this, my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I set that with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Powder in the soft pink shade. Loving that. All I've been using lately as far as loose powder goes. I just felt like going with powder steps today for the color makeup, so I used Wet Shady Beaches from Wet n Wild. I received a new shade of blush from Too Faced. It's the Cloud Crush Blurring Blush in the shade Berry Dreamy, and look at it. It looks like that, but like that all blended out on the cheeks. So I think that's really pretty. And then Revlon Skin Lights in Daybreak Glimmer. That's my highlight. I set all over with the e.l.f. Power Grip setting mist. I really like how fine that mist is. It mists very well for me. I did my brows with the Benefit Brow Pencil and Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. And on my lips, I just have some lip balm. Here's something I got from the sale. This little set from Laneige. It's the S'more Kisses set, $27, and I was able to get the chocolate scent of the lip sleeping mask. And the lip sleeping mask kind of feels worth it to me because I use that morning or night. I think these rich lip balms are so good to prep your lips for makeup. I have a couple of mine up here and I have some downstairs. Oh, but that chocolate scent is good. It's a little bit hitting you at first with Cocoa Puffs, but overall a little richer and sweeter than I was expecting. Like, they did a really good job with that. And then you also get the Lip Glowy Balm in the vanilla scent. I'll put a little bit of that on. That's going to be more of a glossy finish, but it looks just kind of creamy. Scent is sweet vanilla. But that's something that's definitely giving more shine. I could see that being more so paired with a lip look. But yeah, the lips are just getting prepped with those things. But I really like that chocolate lip sleeping mask. That's good. Something that's not makeup that I got that's actually a repurchase from Isle of Paradise. I got their tanning drops. This is the medium shade of the self tan drops for face and body. So I've enjoyed these. I actually have a couple of shades. I have the medium and the dark, and the medium I've had for like a couple years, so I thought maybe it was time to get some new ones. Oh, they changed the packaging. You can't see the inside now. But these are sometimes nice to use with my nighttime skincare, and what I would do is mix a little bit of this, like a couple small drops of this, in with my moisturizer. So my nighttime moisturizer is e.l.f. Holy Hydration. Take some of this and blend it in, and it's a great like face self tanner, or you can mix some of that into moisturizer that goes all over your body and use it that way. Oh, I should have used this today. Tower 28. I got the Get Set powder. The shade is called Palisades Pink. I love a lot of things from Tower 28, so I wanted to try this, and I held on to the box so I could tell you about it. I get how it's pink, but it's like a barely there kind of pink, but just really brightening. They say this blurring and skin brightening talc-free pressed powder makes any base transfer-proof and sweat-resistant in one touch. It says a gentler alternative to setting spray. It's alcohol-free, non-drying, and infused with hydrating squalane. I've never heard of a powder containing that. For a never flat, modern matte finish that lasts. So what I could do is take just a little bit of this. This is a little kind of like detail powder brush from Profusion. Get a little on. I've played with this on and off as well. Yesterday I set my under eyes with this and it worked good. I just kind of forgot. But it truly is brightening. I mean, if you look at a swatch of it, it's really light, but it's nice to have that kind of light pinky shade in a pressed format, because sometimes you want pressed. Okay, now we're really getting into it. I've got a couple of palettes. One I think I'm really gonna love, and one I'm not loving as much as I hoped. So let's start with the one I'm not gonna be using today. I got one of the Sephora Mega Mix palettes. So they have these in several shade options, and I've just really been enamored by the Sephora eyeshadow quality. Remember, I got around Christmas time that beautiful like larger palette, and just really enjoyed that so much, continue to use it on and off. So what happens here, first off, they've got the little band. Sephora likes to do that with some of their smaller palettes. And you open it up, there is a mirror, and neat detail here, the mirror slides out to be like a little handheld mirror. So that's cool. And then you've got actually these 3 separate trios here, okay? And the shade I have is Fiery Warm Nude. I was totally back and forth on what color scheme I was gonna get. But these slide out, they're on a track. See the track there? And then that definitely slides right in. You also could poke these shadows out if you wanted to and put them into a larger palette, or switch a different Mega Mix shade into one of these by using those little holes. But they slide in. And then Sephora is also selling individual random trios. So you could customize this palette, you could pop one out and pop a new one in a different tone or something. But I just got kind of the starter palette, and I'm kind of not loving some of the shimmers. Okay, there's a lot of flake happening, a lot of carefulness that has to be considered when you're using these. There's a few that are like that, like this bronzy shade. You know, they're not swatching incredibly well on my finger, and they're looking like kind of flaky. This one in particular, kind of chunky, fallout prone. The other day I was using it and I was just like, I'm taking my finger and I'm just mushing it in, you know, I'm just gonna make this stuff stick to my eyelid. And it looked okay, but I just didn't love that process. These here, smoother mattes, you know, more of a traditional, did I say mattes? I meant shimmers. Smoother shimmers, that rich pigmented formula you might expect. But we've got mattes up here. This kind of behaves like a matte that I'd like to use in my crease to start things off, but it's got a little glimmer in it. And then matte down here as well. I just kind of wish those 3 shimmers were a little bit better. Kind of wishing they were more smooth. But maybe Sephora is trying to make you want to buy one of those alternate trios that you could just swap in. I don't know. It's just not an immediate love, and the color scheme is very, very common, let's face it. That's kind of a little bit of a regret. Then I decided to get this from Natasha Denona, the Bloom palette. I saw enough people in my comments section kind of recently when I was talking about Natasha Denona palettes saying that this one was really up their alley, and I thought maybe it's up my alley too, because I do really like these tones. This, I really enjoyed the first time I used it. This will be the second time. There's rosiness in here, but it looks like a really good amount of balance. Like, I like the rich colors that are sprinkled throughout. And yeah, I'm just excited for this time of year using this type of palette. And the outer packaging is really cute too. Now I will prime my lids. I've been in kind of a long-term experimental mode with this Wet n Wild Mega Last Eye Primer, and she's been very consistent. It's feeling a little bit thicker maybe than Milani at first, but ultimately blends in with that same kind of vibe. It might be just a little bit more colorful in terms of like it'll conceal the lids just a little more than Milani does. But I have had really consistent days using this, so I might be becoming a fan. Milani is definitely old reliable, but this does save you a few bucks. Okay, so we're getting into our Bloom palette. Let me know if you have this and what are some of your favorite shades or types of looks to turn out. I'm gonna take Robin down here. So it's a beautiful, like really true peach color. I'm going to get some of that with my Profusion crease brush and just start working it in. I love like a peachy crease or peachy haze coming up from above the crease. Did I need this palette? No, I did not need this palette. I did not need the Sephora one. But as far as this one goes, like, I think part of me was just excited to be excited about a potential new palette again, because I just feel like there haven't been a ton of new things coming out that have gotten me super like, yay! There's just not as much as there used to be. I'm adding a little more, building. And with Sephora, period, I rarely make orders anymore, it feels like. I still look at the website often, but I come away kind of feeling like I don't really need anything. And so there were a few of these things that I kind of had in my cart, you know, and I thought, well, sale time, let's go ahead and get them. But I haven't had this like zest for Sephora shopping for a while. Keen right up here. So look how that's kind of a lighter, less pinky peach compared to Robin that we were just using. So this we'll just take and kind of, we're working higher. Or if you don't have a lot of space in between like your brow and your eye, maybe you're overlapping, kind of mixing in with that last shade. I just think a peachiness up in this area tends to look really flattering. Okay, and then we're gonna go to Petal down here. So really soft, maybe you call that a soft warm pink or like a pinky bone shade. That's going straight under the brow. Shades like that are so nice to have in palettes because they blur and they smooth. And then I saw somebody the other day in a video saying, why did we let go of shimmery brow bone highlights? And I really haven't done a lot of that for a while, but they were showing some pictures like vouching for how good it really does look sometimes. And I guess maybe when it's smooth and blended, it does look good. But what about a little bit of this shade called Crisp? I haven't tried this yet. Just a little shimmer up in there. Is this kind of, it's like a iridescent, almost golden little pinky shift. We'll let some come up there. I may have gotten too much on my brush at that time. Okay, here's where the eye is at now. Not too much has been done, but I kind of call this the setup for some darkness. Okay, I can tell the first time I used this palette, I definitely went into Bark and Clover down here. Let's use some Brick today, right in the middle. Matte. Oh, I like this kind of a shade. Look at that. So pretty. Really bringing the warmth. Like I didn't see as much warmth when I was sticking with those other two shades I pointed out the other day in terms of darkness. Oh, wow. I had a lot on my brush there. So a lot laid down. Whew, fun. Like you don't glance at this palette and think, so much warmth, but that shade alone can bring that much to the party, you know? I'm taking my crease brush and I'm gonna let this merge into my crease. See what I'm doing? I'm not swiping over my whole lid, but with the flat brush, I was kind of making sure the shade went up a little higher to touch the crease, and now I can just sort of move it around, blend it out softly. Oh, it's just such a strong color. I really like it. Bloom palette. I might just take like the small pointed brush and maybe a little bit of Bark. Okay, so matte brown, just your nice, like really dark shade in here. And just let that fall into the crease, outermost corner area. And just let it kind of blend in there and darken. I made Biddy's favorite salad the other day, ambrosia salad. It's kind of a fruity thing if you're not familiar. There's Cool Whip involved. We use the word salad loosely, but it is so good. She loves that. She even told me she wished she'd been named Ambrosia. Like, that's how good it is. We had that, and some little smokies, and I made like a casserole so I could have it all done the night before, and then after church just pop it in the oven. Just one of those simple like biscuit, egg, cheese, ham type of things. It's really good. Just kind of cut into that warmth a little bit with some darkness. Nice. Gosh, this shade called Equinox seems so interesting down here. Really icy, light icy, so that's an option. I feel like with the warmth I've got going on, I might want to try Lush. I'm looking at you right there. Let's try that. And it also appears to be the shade that might have really the loudest shimmer, so let's see how she applies. Like, will she be smooth? So far I'm seeing a lot of good smoothness out of that. And I'm just overlapping the lid. So yeah, this palette looks really, really rosy, but it can also give you just a raging warm look if you want it. I just know that. Doesn't have to go this warm, but the shade Brick will take you there. I like warm looks. And it's got all that peachiness to support a look like this, but those peachy shades are also pretty when you pull in like Clover as your anchoring shade too. So yeah, this shade is doing well. Like, it's pigmented, but it's not looking like a full-on metallic. Just a nice, soft shimmer looking really nice. Like, that's what I was going for. Just the look and the satisfaction of that kind of color overlapping the rustiness that's in there. Really good. Okay, I'm 2 for 2 so far on looks I like from this. I should pop up the first look I did. On the first look I did, my lid looks similar, but I am more rosy in the crease. I went with sort of a mixture of Bark and Clover. Bark and Clover to get what I got there. The first look I did is pretty soft. And I think I used Fleur on my inner lid. That's really pretty. Gold, shifting, a little bit peachy. All right, so that's what's happening there. I'm gonna finish off my eye look and I'll be back with my finished face. Hey everybody, my eyes and my lips are done. Here's the way I finished this. I took this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Dimensional Dark Brown, so just kind of a cool standard deep brown, and smudged it on the lash line, like just really close in. I just felt like playing with something other than a shadow stick today, so probably went 2/3 of the way in on the upper lash line with that, and maybe a third on the outer. I like the texture of these sticks, so that's what I worked with there. I used my Essence Lash Princess, the false lash effect on the upper lashes, a little bit of e.l.f. lash extender because it won't smudge on the lower lashes, and then my lip, I knew it needed to be kind of warm and toasty to mesh with the eye, so I went with Kiss and Tell lip liner, the Instapout line from Hard Candy. That's the overall tone, and then as I was going through and like decluttering and going through, sorry, like a big tangle there, and going through lots and lots of lip products, I saw these from Too Faced, and I wasn't immediately like thrilled by the Kissing Jelly glosses. They don't offer a lot of color, but some of the scents are really, really good, I must admit. And this gives me kind of a goldeny glow on top of the lip look. I should blend that up to the Cupid's bow there. This scent called Pina Colada, I believe it is. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's the ambrosia like coming back in, that pineapple. But I've been using those on and off just to top off different looks. I've been making a point to pull in more lipsticks. I've re-shopped my stash for new lipsticks for the week. And those are just fun to kind of keep your same color going on but have a little shine on top. And if you don't overuse them, they don't feel suffocating on your lips. They can feel a little too, I don't know, maybe slimy is the word if you just get too much of that gloss on. It's like they're not sticky, but they can just feel like a lot of stuff on there, you know? But anyways, that's my look with that Bloom palette. I definitely am enjoying that so far. And I'm not done giving that Sephora palette some shots. I just immediately, I don't love the texture of every shimmer. But yeah, let me know in the comments section what you got in the Sephora sale, if you decided to go for anything, or did you decide to just completely sit it out? Let me know and I'll see you again soon. I love you. Bye.